100 a day. I mean, there's all these statistics you can look at, and it really is. Abortion is a war on people,
and it's real racism. The point is, it really is done on purpose.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's, well, they're in 78% of the Planned Parenthoods are in lower income neighborhoods, so they're going after the minorities. It's amazing. And then, you know, there's some pretty cool stuff on Black. I say cool. It's the way they organize and talk about how.
Yeah, let's document, Cam. We can show the history of genocide.
You look at this, the history of genocide, talking about how the Nuremberg trials were made to redefine people and the victim class. And now you have in 1973, and I sent you guys the link on that as well, they define who a person is. Well, now a person is somebody who hasn't left the womb yet, or who has left the womb. So then that kind of leaves everybody up for grabs. If you're still in the womb, you're a prime target at this point. So it's a really, you could just go to blackgenocide.org and go to their, it's called Abortion and Genocide page. And you could just read how they were classifying people and how they started dividing people into different subgroups and say, now
they're saying veterans don't get care. Now old people don't. It's dehumanization. It's coming up this Thursday during the 3-hour show. We're going to be spending 20, 30 minutes each hour out there talking to folks. And if you like killing black people, you think this is a great thing, or the white kids or Hispanic kids or Asian kids in there, you can also come on the show while we're out there with our live cameras and tell us how it's liberal and loving or how they aren't babies. Rob Dew, thank you so much. Anything else? We've shown the map a couple times. We'll be on the sidewalk there in front. There's also a nice big area in front of where Congress Avenue meets up with Ben White. So we'll probably be spread out all along there. It's 2 buildings down from the intersection of Ben White and South Congress. So hope to see everybody out there. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday, May 21st, 201 East Ben White, 78704. Like to see you out there. And we should put a press release out with this video breaking this down. All right. Thank you so much. All right, Steve Quayle's our guest for 5 minutes the next hour of Overdrive, and that's all she wrote for this transmission. I do want to go to these phone calls here that are on the board. But Steve Quayle, before we do that, any points on abortion, any points on the Democratic Party and its history, and tell us about your new TV show.
Well, first of all, you really covered Margaret Sanger, and this is the quintessential slap in the face of the Afro-American population. The point is that it's genocide. That's what you know. I can't do a better job on that than you just did. The point that we made earlier about the Democrats funding, historically funding all the giveaway programs, was ultimately, and I'm going to say this, it's for the day of slaughter, Alex, and that's exactly what we're trying to prevent by the grace of God, if he gives us a little more time to save more lives. And a nation that is bathed in blood, the whole abortion issue, let me give you my 2 cents on that.
It's about cursing America, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's about the sacrament of abortion. Satanists have said, you Christians are, this was said to me, you Christians are so stupid, you don't get it. This is our sacrificial altar mocking everything you believe. And I said, I get it. I'm sorry, but I even understand you. That's what I told the person.
How many abortuaries has it turned out? It turns out that they are doing weird rituals, dead babies, blood, and they go, oh, the doctor was just crazy. No, they're Satanists. Who else do you think wants to kill? Of course, the Satanists usually are the 3rd trimester ones. Other ones just want money. But the guys that'll do the 3rd trimester, they love it. They are sacrificing babies.
Absolutely. So we're in a spiritual conflict, Alex. We're told in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, everybody quotes it. You've heard me say this on even Coast to Coast, I'm sure. But the point is that it's the testimony of Jesus. That's who it's talking about. Now, look at this country. You can worship anything and anyone. If you want to see how, and I would encourage the Afro-American community, go and read the statements that the president has made concerning Jesus Christ and the Old Testament. Yet when you compare it to what his statements about Islam, it's the truth.
He attacked Christianity on Easter this year.
Yes, he did, and mocked it and ridiculed. God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, so shall he reap. And even as we're talking today, Alex, the blood is running. You know, it's funny, and for the record, that wasn't me in the True Legends trailer, though Tim looks like a younger me when I had more hair. Timothy Alberino took a film crew down to Peru and Bolivia looking for we're actually on the trail of live giants, actual giants who have been seen in Peru and Bolivia in contemporary times. But in order to lay the basis, the technology of the fallen, we're laying out the case, and this is on my website. You can go look at it, or you can go to TrueLegendsSeries.com.
Sure, but it is you sitting in front of the fireplace.
Yeah, that is me. Forgive me. That is me. You know, maybe my ego demands I wish I were in the jungles. But the point being is that we're presenting a series. I'm funding a series, you know, trying to raise the funding for the series for 9 episodes, as opposed to the Everything is Aliens crowd. We've got some of the best eyewitness views of who's messing. You know, anytime, for instance, my film team was constantly monitored by intelligence agents and agents of the Vatican for the record to keep an eye on what we're doing. So it's going to be an amazing thing. The 5-minute trailer, I would hope everybody takes a look at, because it's as you said, it's incredibly well done. And the documentary should be out available on the 15th. The sale of proceeds will fund the other 9 issues. And you know, man, I just am in awe at how you pull off everything you pull off, because it costs millions of dollars to do what you got to do. Fortunately, our budget, you know, is that we can do each episode for about $100,000 to $125,000. I have been approached by the past. I get calls almost weekly, emails easily every other week from a History Channel, Geographic Channel, all these guys wanting me to come on, wanting to turn over my pilot friend that actually flew a dead giant out of Afghanistan in 2005, and basically when the Special Forces team went in to take them out, the giant killed them all, ate them all. And the fascinating thing is, I got to share something that's interesting, is that when we're down there, everybody who's like in the 75 to 80 years, whether they're in Sardinia, in the Mediterranean, or in South America, Peru and Bolivia, the point is that the old have an amazing story to tell. The young people, they're just buying into what they see on TV and what they watch on the internet.
Well, we certainly know there's a lot of hidden, crazy stuff, and you've said things before I thought were just over the top, and then they turn out to be true. Well, I definitely want to watch these series, and it's really interesting. Steve Quayle, stevequayle.com. Let's go to Chris in North Carolina. You're on the air. Welcome.
Yes, sir. This question's for Dan or Steve Quayle. Sorry, I was about to say Dan Quayle. That's weird.
It's okay. Dan Quayle's. Go ahead.
My question is, Quayle, do you think the government already knows about an impending doom from Islamic terrorists in the Jade Helm area? Do you think that's going to implement martial law?
Well, I think it's going to be one of the things that springboards us into martial law. And, yeah, you can't say ISIS an open border with any type of intellectual or emotional or moral integrity. Why have the borders not been secured? Alex has had people on. I've talked to them, interviewed them, read their emails on the air. They're basically saying if we arrest anybody who's a known terrorist, and I'm not talking about Latinos or Hispanics, they're talking about someone comes in from the State Department and orders them let go. So the point is, absolutely, ISIS, here's the point in terror. Terror is ultimately to bring about submission, and that's what they're trying to do. We see it in the politics of radical Islam in the United States. We see it all through the Middle East. And the point is, we could have stopped this. And if anybody remembers, Alex, remember the long victory parade, 4.5 miles long, of ISIS and their captured U.S. stuff in Iraq? And
yes.
And people are saying, why didn't we hit them then? Well, simply because the powers that be in this country, deep down, they are Satanists, and they're going to use everybody. It goes right back to Albert Pike's statement, turn the Muslims against the Jews, Jews against Christians, and when everybody wipes out everybody, we bring on Lucifer, the true God. And I'm not going to argue with anybody. That's immoral.
Well, sure, that's what they're doing. And then people say, Alex, you're the guy that exposed false flag terror on 9/11. Why are you saying ISIS is real? They have raised this al-Qaeda jihadi army. They've changed the name to ISIS and Islamic State to confuse the public. I think Colonel Schaefer on, you name it, the Pentagon knows, 90+% of the Free Syrian Army is al-Qaeda, is ISIS. And so our government's funding them. They let them come in. They let them attack. No need to even stage an event now because the upstream, they created them, allowed them to operate through Saudi funding, through NATO funding. Then they can take our liberties in the response to ISIS. And ISIS, in return, is given part of the Middle East as their payoff for being the secret army that destabilizes the West so a police state can be put in place. And that's the bottom line of what's happening. Separately, though, it just shows what a farce Homeland Security is, because they say their main mission is who? Those of us that don't want to go along with the New World Order. Thank you, Chris. Let's talk to Michael in Mississippi. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Steve. Steve, I had a question. I listened to several interviews with Bob Fletcher, including the one you did on the Hagman show, and Bob Fletcher's pretty much put his investigative credibility and reputation on the line about an incoming celestial event that he believes martial law must be established or set in place.
That's right. A lot of folks think there's a asteroid coming in or something. What do you know about that?
Well, years ago I talked specifically about Nibiru. That's the official ancient name, the 10th planet.
Planet X.
Yeah, Planet X, Gabriel's fist, Lucifer's hammer, and based on what a Navy SEAL, I posted on my alert site, Navy SEAL explains a big event as being that, okay? In other words, Alex, they know of all the earth changes that are going to be happening, they know of all of the electrical discharges, they know of Roche's, R-O-C-H-E's limit, and the point is that the whole universe, if you want to look at it real simply, is go and look up Velikovsky, Worlds in Collision, and then the time of this is interesting because we've heard, both of us from separate sources, that they're stocking their underground bunkers.
Well, sure, and how many record blood moons have there been?
Well, what is it, 3? The 4th is coming up.
I mean, I don't even put stake in all this, but the elites do. They're obsessed with it all. He's up on Infowars.com. Explosive new documents reveal Obama Clinton spin and lies on Benghazi. Al Gore's climate change lies exposed. The latest on that, now he says in a few more years we'll be all flooded and dead, basically. Of course, he said in 2007 it would be by 2013. Leftists exploit biker bloodbaths to complain about white privilege. They say, why isn't the National Guard out on the street? Because they arrested everybody. It happened in a localized area. It isn't just random people going out and burning stuff. It was a outlaw motorcycle gang impromptu rally. And the whole thing's very suspicious. Now they got a giant rot rally coming up in Austin, Texas, and who knows what's going to happen with that. Most of the bike riders are great people. I don't care if you want to wear an outfit and be part of a club. I'm talking about the criminal groups claim they're anti-establishment, but all I see is them working with the establishment with their drug dealing and all the rest of it. Going back to Steve Quayle, we're taking phone calls. Steve, what do you think is really going on with this? I mean, you say you have some questions about it. Why does everything keep popping up in Texas?
Well, I think that Texas, number one, has one of the strongest real-based economies in the world without massive amounts of debt. Number two, it's the spirit of the Alamo. Number three, it basically is because if that secret agreement that is in place that I've been told that you've been affirmed that it is too, to return Azatlan to Mexico, then obviously the greatest resistance is going to come from Texas. Texas has a history, and by the way, wasn't there a TV series out or HBO special called The Sons of Texas? I think there was or something, or is coming out, and I thought that was very prophetic in its timing. So it's because of the border, it's because of the strength of the people, it's because you're obviously a God-fearing state, historically, with minor exceptions in some of the politics, and the idea of all of the assets that are available in Texas, meaning they all...
Oh, it's definitely its own standalone country, and the U.S. surpassed a year ago Saudi Arabia in global production. That's mainly Texas. Is the biggest oil producer in the world. It has its own infrastructure. They looked at the demographics, and they know politically Texas is not going to say yes to the New World Order, and so Jade Helm is a dry run. We're not demonizing the military. It's there to condition them as well. Rich in Ohio, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex and Steve.
Welcome.
What a combination. It's great to talk to both of you guys at the same time. You guys are excellent. I watch your videos, and I connect the dots.
Thank you, brother.
You're both skirting around the big dots. You both see it, but you don't see it.
Well, hey, you're on the air. No, don't need to preface it. Got a minute and a half till break. Go ahead.
Look at the work of one Gil Brossard and Planet 7X, and forget all the rest of the crap. And then look at Richard Shaw's new production on the Torah codes. And these are the two biggest dots that are interconnected that you're missing.
You know, I've been on the air for 20 years, and I'm always hearing about Planet X. I know there's a Kuiper belt, there's an asteroid belt.